Hey guys, my name is Nina Carson and I am the coach and team founder of Team Unity Fitness. And I wanted to just take a few minutes and welcome you to our coach sneak peek. This is basically a 5-day free group, no obligation to join, and we're going to go over what coaches do, how we do it, how we make money. Every question you have this week should be answered, and if for some reason I don't answer any of those questions, make sure you comment on the posts or send me a message so that I know I'm missing something that you need the answer to. So before we get started, I really just wanted to take a few minutes and kind of let you know where I'm coming from, how I got started, and why I joined this business in the first place. So I kind of want to take you back to 2012. I had my daughter in May, and before that I was already living paycheck to paycheck. I had a little money left over, but not much. And then I had a baby. So, babies take up all the extra that you have. But the problem was that I was living paycheck to paycheck before this. I didn't have temporary disability. I had maternity leave at work, but did not have enough personal leave time to extend through that maternity leave. So my personal leave probably covered about a week. So I was off for 1 week that I was paid. After that, there was no pay. So I was off 5.5 weeks with no income. During that time, I was trying to live off of my fiance's income, and we were just trying to make ends meet, and it just was not working. We were used to having 2 incomes. Now we're down to 1. So I got clearance from my doctor to go back to work a week early, but during that time had to work 2 weeks in the hole. So now I was off for 7 weeks without pay before I ever got another paycheck. During that time, we got behind on our rent. We had to shut off our cable, and we had to literally call and lower every single bill we could because we just couldn't make it on just his income. Plus still having to buy diapers and get formula and food in the house and things like that. It just wasn't working. So we still continued to do this, live paycheck to paycheck, and just try to make ends meet. But once we were behind, it was just so hard to catch up. I would put a little extra on something, and then something else would get behind. And then I would put a little extra on that, and the other thing would get behind. By the end of when everything was all said and done, I was about $4,500 behind on my rent because I just couldn't make it work. So this went on for about a year. Around my daughter's first birthday, we decided to throw her a first birthday party because why wouldn't we? And I took the last $25 I had and put it on a pavilion rental for her party. Then I took what very little money I got in food stamps and bought her cake and ice cream with it. And that was it. That was all the money I had. At this point, I couldn't afford to buy my daughter a gift. I couldn't buy her a t-shirt, an outfit, a toy, nothing. I had no money left. So during that week, because I only got like $40 in food stamps and I just used it all on cake and ice cream, I had to depend on my parents to put food in the house for us. And I'm grateful that they were visiting us from New York to do that. But it's just so embarrassing that I had to ask them to do that. So during that week, we struggled for sure. During the party, though, I struggled emotionally. I was asked by all the people at her party, well, what did you get Bella for her birthday? What did Mommy and Daddy buy Bella? And the answer was we bought her nothing because we couldn't afford to. If you're in this group and you're a mom, you know that your joy is tied directly to your children. And in that moment, my joy was taken. I know that my daughter will never remember her first birthday. She will not remember that I couldn't buy her a gift. But in my mind, I was broken that day. My sole job was to provide for this little girl, and I was not doing it. I wasn't doing a good job at it. So I was like, well, I just don't know what to do about my finances. I can't change them. I can't make more money without finding a different job. And I was having a hard time doing that or even finding a second job. So I decided to take control of the one thing that I could take control of, and that was my health. At this point, I was 210 pounds. I was squeezing into a size 12 when I should have been wearing a 14 or a 15. I literally would lay on my bed every day and put my jeans on because it was the only way to squeeze them on. And it was the only thing I could do. So I looked up a couple different things. I had tried counting calories before this point, and it didn't really work for me. I tried going to the track and walking a couple days a week, and it didn't get me anywhere because I wasn't making good food choices. So I had decided to do Insanity, the original Insanity. Now, I'm an all or nothing personality. I'm either going to give it everything I got or I'm not giving it anything. And that's the thing, is that Insanity is an all or nothing program. You don't know that there's a modifier. You look at it and there's no way to modify anything. They are hardcore, going balls to the walls, just doing it. And so for me, that was what I needed. I needed something all or nothing, but I didn't have the money to buy it. So my uncle was gracious enough to buy it for me. And it sat on my shelf for a couple weeks, and my fiance looked at me and he said, I don't even know why you had your uncle buy that, because you're never going to do it. And if you start it, you're never going to finish it. And truthfully, I'll tell you, he knew what it took to motivate me, because telling me that I'm not going to do something is exactly what gets me there. So I did Insanity for 60 days and lost 20 pounds. And then I moved on to T25, and I did 90 days of that, because 60 days of the original and then the additional 30-day program you can also get with it. I did that as well and lost another 17 pounds. So I took control of my fitness. I was posting every day on Facebook about what I was doing and how I was doing it. And at this point, we're still broke. I wasn't making great food decisions because I was buying cheap stuff that we could eat for days at a time, or stuff that would not cost us very much to make, like hamburger helpers, mac and cheeses, things like that. And it just was not, I wasn't getting all the way to my goals because I wasn't eating according to them, because I couldn't afford to buy good food. I couldn't afford to buy healthy food. And at this point, we were pawning things in the pawn shop. We would take our computers, tablets, video games, TVs if we needed to. We would pawn what we had to pay the bills we needed to pay, to keep our lights on, to keep a roof over our heads, and ultimately to put food in our kids' stomachs. We just couldn't make it work. We were in this never-ending cycle of pawning things and then getting it out of the pawn shop and having to take it right back, because now we didn't have money that we needed to put food on the table. So we were getting it in and putting it in and getting it out, and going through this never-ending cycle. So about December of 2013, my coach approached me and said, you're really doing everything a coach is doing. I'm just getting paid for it and you're not. So why don't you join my team? And I was like, that sounds like a really good idea, but I just don't have the money. But I felt God laying coaching on my heart more and more. As I kept thinking about it, and as I kept doing my workouts and posting pictures about it, I was like, maybe I could do this coaching thing. Maybe it could be the answers to my prayers. Maybe, just maybe, it could help me take control of my income. So I kept thinking and kept thinking and kept thinking, and I was like, man, how am I going to get this $140? Because that's what it costs to buy a challenge pack at this point. And there's other options to join as a coach. You don't have to buy a challenge pack. But for me, again, all or nothing personality, I was going all the way. I was buying that challenge pack. I had it in my head. And so I was like, how am I going to get this money? And so I just had to wait. I waited till tax time, because I knew at tax time I would have extra money. So I waited. I joined as a coach. And I said, you know what? I can't do this if I can't afford to pay for my Shakeology. So in the first 2 weeks I was a coach, I made my money back that I invested in my business, plus made enough to pay for my Shakeology. I intentionally went out knowing what my goal was. And since then, I've been able to pay for my Shakeology every month that I've been a coach. I have been able to pay bills. Sorry, I get a little emotional talking about this. I've been able to pay bills that I wouldn't have otherwise been able to pay, such as putting my daughter in daycare. I've been able to pay for my lights to stay on. There was a point where my lights were like about to get cut off, and that Beachbody check hit the bank, and I went and paid the light bill. It was perfect timing, but it was also such a blessing to be able to say, I have the money to do this. I've been able to buy my daughter shoes when she needed them, because before that, it was not something that was real for me. I would not be able to just go out and say, well, Bella needs a new pair of shoes today, let me just go buy them. I didn't have that ability. So Beachbody has been a blessing to me physically. I've been able to work on my fitness journey, get to my goals, learn good eating habits that don't break the bank. I've been able to put money in the bank so that there's food on the table, there's shoes on my daughter's feet, the bills are paid, and I've been able to work on my mentality, because before this I was so super negative. I was somebody who, I was a woe is me kind of person. I always thought about what was wrong. I always saw the negative in every situation and didn't see that there was positive things to anything. So I'm making this video, and it's probably the longest video you'll watch all week, to let you know that whether you join us or not, this business has been a blessing to me, and I just want to pass that blessing on to you. There has been opportunities for me to meet some of the best friends I'll ever make. I've been able to change my mentality. I've been able to work on myself physically, and some of those things, to me, truthfully outweigh the money I've made financially, which the financial blessing has also been so, so important to our family too, because it's helped us in times where we just didn't know if we were going to make it. So I hope my story has touched your heart in some way. I hope that you're excited to go over the next 5 days with us, and I hope that you just stick it out and just see what this business could do for you. Get that vision in your head, and I'm just going to encourage you to dream big over the next 5 days. Talk to you later, guys.